Our assault on Kronos is underway as we punch through to the first city to assail Emperor J'Ula in the High Council Hall. He began by throwing his non-Klingon forces at us, the vassal states and mercenaries of the Empire, before revealing his flagship and fleet. We were able to call in Elachi reinforcements of our own by turning his weapon against him and overwhelm his defensive line. However, Aakar and his fleets are inbound at high warp, so we are taking the opportunity to beam down to the planet's surface, hopefully before they get here.
Remind me to have a word with Adeppa, if we survive. This is not an ideal place to begin our attack. That smell. Worse than Feklaw's backside.
A smell J'Ula may be intimately familiar with soon. But hey, this alleyway was a safe place to start.
Under the circumstances, this was the closest she could get us to the Great Hall. Plug your nose and forge on!
Okay, just someone else that should probably lead.
I know a path that leads to the proving grounds. From there, we should be able to fight our way to the Great Hall.
Listen, do you hear? The sounds of battle and bloodthirsty targs. Keep your weapons handy. The enemy is nearby.
Be wary. Around here, we have more than J'Ula's troops to worry about.
They stand to suffer under J'Ula's rule. We may have more allies here than you think, General.
It seems that we made it down here not a moment too soon, as a shield has been erected around the first city, protecting it from direct transport and orbital attack. Every now and then, adding to the din of battle and the clash of Klingons, is the dull flash and thud of a photon torpedo striking the barrier. The city's already damaged, but most of this is from the Loyalist forces clashing with Klingon houses that have risen up against J'Ula under our assault, as well as other elements that stand to gain by his loss. It's not long, however, before we encounter an Imperial patrol combing the streets for dissenters. After clearing them out, we press on down Martok's chosen route. The path is blocked in several places, but this serves to our advantage as we're not heading that way, and it reduces our chances of being ambushed. As we round one corner, J'Ula spots something ahead.
Look! Dissension in the ranks! Now is the time to strike!
Take the Loyalists down while they are distracted!
The Loyalist forces of J'Ula's Empire have turned their weapons on another house, as of yet unidentified, but in the heat of battle we hope that whoever they are fighting can determinate us from more Imperial forces. L'Rell is counting on bolstering our smaller weighting with local resistance, so let's hope these people are inclined to agree. But everything is very hectic and the fighting only increases the closer we get to the square.
Hold your fire! I am General Martok. Who do you fight for?
We are warriors of House Kang, General. We fight to restore the Empire.
Okay, this is good. Some of House Kang appears to have made it planetside too, or perhaps they were already here biding their time. After all, House Kang's leadership was imprisoned by J'Ula to hold them in check, and now we've freed General Kamal, it looks like his forces have rallied. It's very difficult to differentiate the House Kang soldiers from the Loyalists, so I'm grateful for the heads-up display that categorizes them for me, even though I have it off when recording. However, the Klingons aren't the only ones here, as there seem to be a significant number of Orions engaged in battle against J'Ula's forces too.
Kapla! Well fought, Orion! That Orion was leading the defense here. Let us see what he knows about enemy defenses.
We stop to build our supplies from the fallen foes and then cautiously move in to investigate this at-ease Orion man standing in the middle of this battlefield.
Enemy targets on sensors.
The Lady J'Ula of House Mo'kai. Truly, it is an honor to meet you. Please, allow me to offer you my personal gratitude.
Gratitude? For what? I do not know you, Orion. What are you talking about?
J'Ula, you are every bit the diplomat. You're supposed to say, I don't believe we've met.
His name is Usan Vek, and he is a notorious pirate. I suspect he's thanking you for all the good business this war has provided him. He made the mistake of attacking some freighters carrying goods from my house. A mistake he will never make again, if he is wise.
Consider that lesson well learned, General. I have far better uses for my ships than to serve as target practice for the warriors of House Martok.
Ah, an Orion pirate. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that, because we have bigger things to do, like getting through that shield over there.
That's a tall order, friend. There isn't much around here that can get past those shields. Fortunately for you, I happen to have something that will. For the right price, of course.
I suppose you don't buy into the whole glory for the Empire thing.
Earlier, you mentioned your gratitude. Provide us with the means to bypass the shielding, and we shall express our gratitude to you in return. Unless you prefer to deal with the Emperor.
I've seen what the Emperor does to Orions, my lady. We have a deal. Not far from here, some associates of mine are guarding a shipment of tetrion explosives. They will knock that shielding down quite nicely. Though there is a small issue to be dealt with, I'm afraid.
Look at that, J'Ula, you're learning. Okay, so what is this issue you expect us to deal with?
My associates recently informed me that their position was in danger of being compromised by Imperial security. Unless you want those tetrion lovelies in the hands of the Emperor, I'd suggest lending my people a hand. You'll find them at the following coordinates.
Asset denial for the Empire and recovering probably stolen goods. I can get behind that.
I knew Usan Vec to be bold, but running a smuggling operation in the first city? I am not sure if he is bold or insane.
I suspect a pirate operating in the Empire would need to be both, General.
They tend to be both, in my experience. Yeah, worth a shot. Okay, let's go get the explosives. Ahead in the distance we can already see fighting. I suspect this is Uvan Vec's forces attempting to fight off the Imperials. We should intervene. There's quite a sizable force here of Gorn and Orions, and after we deal with the Imperial soldiers, Usan Vec's forces still remain wary of us, understandably.
Lower your weapons! Usan Vec sent us!
That Gorn is Usan Vec's enforcer. Talk to him about the explosives.
We can see the individual in question loitering atop a stone staircase next to a pile of burning debris. He's done well to hold this warehouse against Jimpok's forces.
The boss told us help was on the way. Nice to see he wasn't lying. Imperial security has arrested my crew pinned down inside. If you're here to help, you need to get in there.
We'll help, but this is an arrangement. There are tetrion charges we need in there.
We can talk about such things after we save my crew. Agreed?
Agreed.
What's your aim? Would you want to blow up your prize, would you?
Good advice. Shoot at Imperial security forces only.
Once inside, we can see the skirmish is already underway and the Empire is trying to put down this thorn in its side. So we set about aiding the pinned down pirates, and of course watch our fire. After all, we wouldn't want to detonate those charges yet. The majority of the Orions have been forced into the open dock below and are being attacked from the surrounding balconies. Not a great position, so it's a good job we're here to distract the Klingons. Did the Gorn captain just lob a slab of concrete? Where did he find concrete? We're on metal grating.
Ask the Gorn to check the cargo manifest. There may not be enough here to get the job done.
We give a quick scan of the warehouse to make sure it's all secure before doing as J'Ula recommends. Tetrions are particles that exist in subspace in a stable form, but rapidly destabilize when exposed to normal spacetime. These explosives exploit that property by holding them in a subspace pocket until they detonate, when they are then introduced to our spacetime continuum with violent results.
According to the cargo manifest, all of the tetrion charges are in here. Is it a problem?
Yes, if this is a summary of all of the charges, I don't think we have enough.
What are you trying to do? There's enough tetrion in here to blow up a dreadnought.
Oh, you know, blow up the shield around the Great Hall itself.
I see. You'll need to hit it at a weak point. Cause enough of a surge to overload the primary emitters and the backup grid.
Yeah, and there's not enough here to do that in one go. So, if you've got any recommendations or alternatives, I'd be open to hearing them.
Scanning. Found one. Courtyard side entrance, not far from here. It's a narrower approach. Less need to repel firepower of the same magnitude as the front gate.
Theoretically easier to defend, so less shielding. That makes sense.
Very well. Secure the charges and prepare for battle. We must not fail now. The battle is won. Gather the tetrion charges while you can.
I'm going to gather up all the tetrion charges that I can, but because I want to, not because you told me.
We've got what we came for. Let's go.
Over there, by that field. Place the charges there. Quickly, set the tetrion charges. Charges in place. Now, get to a safe distance and detonate them.
After placing them, we retreat to a safe distance and prepare to detonate them. If only Tarsi were here, she'd enjoy this one. Well, sucks to be her. And look at that, the shield is down. Okay, I was hoping for a bigger explosion, but nevertheless we have an opening we should go through now before it closes again. We head on into the courtyard in front of the... hello, I did knock. Okay, they're firing. It seems that J'Ula has retained a large number of Klingons for the defence of the Great Hall, but he himself is nowhere to be seen. No doubt his returns to its depths to hide.
Reinforcements are beaming in. Prepare for battle!
The disciples of none. Watch out for their nanopulse weapons.
Like the wind, I do not respect a fool. And there are many of them asking to dance on my blade. Good.
These disciples of the Sons of None are those who are trained by the House Mo'kai's Houseless, the leaders of which we've already dispatched to Grethel. While not as strong or well trained, they are still dangerous with a preference for melee combat which cuts through personal shielding. But the big question is, if they're with House Mo'kai, does that mean Aakar's here?
Lady J'Ula, the Emperor awaits you in the Great Hall. Face him, if you have the spine for it.
Martok will be fine, don't worry.
Go. Do what must be done.
Need to return to the Rotaran. Join the fight there. From one ex-chancellor to another. Use it well.
Come! We have business within the Great Hall.
Martok's decision to return there was the correct one. His wound has prevented him from battle, but he can still command from the bridge, and he's a skilled tactician at both. I think outpunching a hole in the shield allowed for the signal lock, but it's now on us to finish whatever awaits us in there. J'Ula cannot handle it by herself.
Do you miss this place, Mother? This is as close as you'll get to being Chancellor again, I'm afraid.
You are blocking my path, lackey! Make way!
Arrogant, misbegotten clone! Janchu! Your path ends here. You will not save her. J'Ula will die on the Emperor's blade.
Those force fields are blocking our way. Destroy the emitters in the walls to bring them down.
So J'Ula's made it all the way down the hall to reach J'Ula, but they seem equal in combat prowess for now. However, J'Ula has been fighting all day, and J'Ula is better rested, and who knows what else he has stashed up his sleeves. So we need to get to her while Aakar acts as a distraction.
So many fools, all eager to fight in a burning house. Ha ha!
The first 4 emitters are easy enough to break down. They're unprotected.
How clever you are. But you will go no further.
These emitters have shields. Disable them with your tricorder, then destroy the emitters.
Okay, so now we've got a little snack because we need to keep his forces off of us long enough for me to science my way through the shields. Alongside the soldiers beaming in to defend Aakar and the Emperor, we have these new mycelial drones that open small rifts to that subspace domain. Unfortunately, this time we have no Alachi friends waiting for us or tech to redirect those rifts.
Time is your true enemy. I have plenty of it, but J'Ula has but a few dregs remaining. This is where you fail. You will never get past me.
You should have stayed in your own time, barbarian. There is no place for you in my empire.
Delusional old fool! The only place for you is Gretel! You will be there soon enough!
There is only one more shield between us and the Emperor now, and Aakar is still beaming in reinforcements and has a seemingly endless supply of those combat drones. We have to fall back to the entrance to thin out the forces coming our way, but we aren't the only ones to retreat.
Energize! Now!
Adet Pa, we need to block Akar's personal transporter.
Have you tried shooting him before he can use it?
Now is really not the time for this, Aakar.
You know he runs at the first sign of peril, Captain. We need to prevent that.
Understood. I need his transporter frequency. With that, I can block him. When he transports, scan the area he left. A few scans should provide his complete frequency.
You are brave, and it is the brave ones who die. Always.
So he beams away, uses some encrypted personal transporter to do so, and then spends the time restoring his personal shields before coming back fully refreshed.
Aakar to Tom! Emergency transport!
Quick!
Well done. Give me 2 more and I will shut that nuke down.
There is still fight in you. Still your blood boils. Good. No. Not this time. Energize!
Quick! Scan his transporter signature.
2 scans down. 1 more, and his running days are over.
As he returns, bringing more soldiers with him, the rest of the awaiting begins to suffer and are knocked down one by one.
Aakar to Tom! Emergency transport!
Quick! Scan his transporter signature.
Got it! I have blocked him out of his own transporter. Send him screaming to Gretel, my lady!
You still live? Time to do something about that.
I set about trying to resuscitate my crew, but with our numbers thinning on both sides, Akar's forces are being persistent.
What is this? What have you done?
I think he just found out he can't beam away.
Oh, there is no escape for you this time, my worm. Give my regards to Vekla!
The rest of my crew is down, Ravel is engaged with the other Klingon reinforcements, so it's just me and Aakar. We first met him as a prisoner of the Baran when we were a cadet, and he is the shadow of another time that has followed us into the 25th century. I could stun him and take him in again, but I've made an oath.
You cannot win. I will not allow it. You shall never rule. Talk pa, talk be.
Not to be.
They will never follow you. Never.
I believe this belongs to you now.
No. It is not my destiny. It belongs in your hand, as Chancellor.
Rech Klingon Wochtach Judge!
And the Emperor lies dead, as does Aakar, the man who enabled him. J'Ula was right to turn down the leadership. By rights, she slew J'Mpok in a duel for the Chancellorship, and it passed to her, but she was too controversial a figure to lead. She's still a symbol of division among the houses, and when the euphoria of battle passes and the songs of victory fade, she would have found that she still has much to learn about being a leader. She has a path of redemption to walk before her, and it is a long one. L'Rell, at least, has the experience and form a legacy behind her, even if her status as a clone might cause some issues. J'Mpok was a ruler for a war that the Klingons originally followed, but many of his victories were tied up in the accomplishments of his allies like House Duras, and times change. While he worked with the Federation Alliance, he also refused to commit forces to things like the Herc skirmishes and became increasingly concerned with his own safety and legacy, feeling threatened by the return of Martok and even J'Ula.
The Sword of Kalish. In my time, most believe it was a thing of legend, of myth. I will not dishonor this sacred weapon. Its legacy will not be tarnished by my hand. I swear it.
I hope so, Chancellor. I've fought alongside 3 of its former wielders now, and each has been honourable. I'm sure you will continue to be so.
May it be a reminder in the days to come, as we rebuild what was broken and replace what was lost. A reminder of all that is great within the Empire!
Indeed, and good luck.
Reforging the Empire will be a challenge, but one worthy of Kalish and all who dwell with him in Sto-vo-kor. Fortunately, we are Klingon. We live for such a challenge.
Qapla'. Now, I must apologise for the next cutscene because I recorded it several times and, well, you'll see.
2 weeks have passed since the fall of J'Mpok. Our wounds heal. The honored dead have joined their ancestors in Sto-vo-kor. Order has returned to the Empire. Rebuilding what was broken or lost has begun. There is more to be done. But first, we will celebrate our hard-fought victory.
There are many characters here in this meeting. The first city has been repaired in the intervening weeks, as have relations with the Alliance and the Federation. The new shape of the Empire remains to be seen, but if L'Rell honours her allies, well, then I think the Gorn, the Thracians and the Orions might see a redistribution of that power balance that J'Mpok used to suppress them with. In the Alliance delegation we have Captain Kargren and Chairman Casanita, who I'm not sure should still be in that position, considering he harboured House Mo'kai when they were still criminals.
Despite a return to stability within the Empire, the Alliance must stand ready to provide assistance in the rebuilding effort here.
I actually agree. The Empire's inclusion in the Alliance was a factor in the dissatisfaction that was growing with J'Mpok, which led to this whole mess to begin with, but despite this the Alliance shouldn't give up on the Klingons.
We cannot afford another J'Mpok. The tragedy of Kithamer or worse could happen again. Especially if such a tyrant turned their eyes on the Federation or the Republic. Even the Dominion could be threatened by such a rule.
I mean, that's always the case, which is why the Alliance leadership is there, to provide an outside and impartial view. Just don't get too zealot, Kargran. Don't forget, we're not Inquisitors. We have the Dominion here, as well as some Republic members, some Orion, some Gorn, and Admiral Gerald Quinn, but the attention seems to be focused pretty much on Tarsev, which is understandable. First Alachi ambassador.
There are more like me among the liberated Alachi. Some prefer life within the mycelial network, but others would like to return to their former lives when the time is right.
I can understand that. And are you among them?
Not at this time. The Alliance has asked me to represent the liberated Alachi. As an ambassador, I will be able to forge a new future for my people and to protect the sanctity of the mycelial network. Perhaps in the future, I will return to a life among the Romulan people. But for now, my place is with the Alachi.
Congratulations on your new posting then, Ambassador. I hope we can mitigate the damage done by all of this. In one corner we have the assembled crew of the Cold Star, mingling with some Starfleet officers while Adet Par listens in. I presume they were here for their payout?
When I was living a hermit's life on Nimbus 3, I thought I had seen it all. On that, I was greatly mistaken. Civil war within the Empire, the return of L'Rell, even a battle with giant cybernetic reptile.
Oh yeah, the Robo-Dino, stolen from the Voth. I have never had a normal trip to Nimbus. Oh, and thanks for helping with the car.
Yes, but in the end he was too clever for his own good. Dealing with his tricks gave me insight on his computer security. With that knowledge, I was able to trap him on Kronos, where he was dealt with once and for all. Well done, by the way.
I heard he was shot to death with a lethal blast from somewhere and nobody saw who did it with all the chaos going on. So I can't take all the credit for that. I mean, it was probably justified, battle and all that, but I guess whoever did it probably wants to avoid House Mo'kai reprisals. Now, I did find back here there were some assembled Starfleet captains too, all of whom have unique names, but for the life of me I couldn't place them. So either I've forgotten them, or it's something else. If you know any of these guys, let me know in the comments. We walk over to the assembled Klingon houses from left to right. We have the Gorn Captain Laksha, then we have Kajna, Benar of House Korath, Martok, Worf, Captain Koran, Kruar, and Kanal of House Kang.
I, for one, do not recommend running from a wave of mycelial destruction, no matter what age you are. It is not a pleasant experience, I can assure you.
What's the matter, General? A little short on breath? Well, I mean, you are over 70, actually. And metaphasic radiation could only do so much. Actually, come to think of it, you've survived a hell of a lot. How many lives left do you have, General?
Indeed. Grethar holds a number of fools who thought they would be the end of me. There are two, in particular, I'm glad to be rid of on this day.
I think I can guess who.
Yes, though I am pleased that their deaths led to Gowron's release from Grethor. Now he resides with Kalis in Stovacor, and I have no doubt Feklar is glad to be rid of him. That wild-eyed schemer was probably well on his way to taking charge of the place when he was released.
I only met him the once, but I'm inclined to believe you. So that leaves L'Rell and J'Ula to talk to. I swear I saw J'Ula seeming almost happy to see me when we walked in, which is weird, but I guess means aside from L'Rell and Martok, I'm probably the closest thing she has to a friend. now. It's also confidence boosting to see that one of L'Rell's first actions was to reinstate the High Council made up of the Great Houses. So, J'Ula, I know you've been pardoned for everything, but are you sure there's nothing I can arrest you for?
Much has changed since my first time as Chancellor, and much has remained the same. I am already besieged with requests and calls for favor from many houses, great and small. Fortunately, I shall have the assistance of the latest torchbearer as we move forward and restore the Empire.
Oh, torchbearer now, so you've got diplomatic immunity then. I can't just get you for, I don't know, tax evasion or something? A parking ticket for the Katinga? Relax, I'm kinda teasing. It's quite an honour.
Indeed. As other torchbearers before me, it will be my role to act as an advisor to the Chancellor. And, if necessary, to get my hands dirty where she cannot. It is my intention to serve her and the Empire to the best of my ability. In my time here, we have been adversaries and allies. It has been a strange journey for us both. Without you, the Empire would have been lost. For your role in the conflict, you have my respect and my thanks.
And you know what? As long as you're earnest about what you just said, you have mine. With that all said and done, we're free to leave. The Klingon civil war has come to a close, and the houses are restabilising into something new. Under new leadership, the Klingon future looks strong, and hopefully a level of cooperation can be maintained. It's been said that Klingons don't do well in peace, but I'm not so sure that's true. They just have a different way of viewing peace as a time to keep one another sharp. But it's time for us to step back from their affairs, and as I return to the crew of the USS Armiger, I'm eager to get back out there and explore as a Starfleet officer once more.
The event has concluded. You may beam back to your ship at your leisure. Once more, I stand for the Empire as its Chancellor. It is a singular honor, and I will lead by example in the days to come. There is much to be done, but we will meet every challenge and emerge victorious, for we are Klingon! Klingon Mach Tach Judge! You have been an honorable ally, and your name will be remembered in songs and tales forevermore. Glory to you and your house. Kapla!
There is a further skirmish that I want to cover as part of the Klingon War, but that shouldn't be too large of an episode. It covers what went on in orbit while we were groundside. But apart from that, we will be moving on into the current unfolding story arc of Star Trek Online. But the tale is continuing and evolving with updates, and there are a few other missions here and there that's not a part of the main questline, so I'll need to cover them too. However, all that is to come later. So, until then, thank you for watching the Star Trek Online story series. I've been Rick, and I hope to see you back for another part. Until then, Qapla' and goodbye.